how it's a discussion topic. How big is Panem? If tours are given of the old arenas, they must still exist. So does that mean that there are 75 arenas located throughout Panem? How is that geographically possible? Where are they all located? What do we think about this?
Because I still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, because they do give tours of the old arenas.
And the arenas aren't small.
No, they're huge.
And you also have to travel to them.
Yes. How is this possible?
My theory on that is that each district in itself isn't like, people make maps where these districts are like huge hulking things. I imagine them all being like very, very large condensed cities. And most of what's left of North America is just kind of crazy wilderness, and that's where they're building the arenas.
That's a good point, because when you think about it, then you have your livestock and your agricultural districts would be bigger. But when I was going back through and looking for some of the facts we've been tweeting, one of them was at the beginning of Hunger Games, Katniss says that the population of District 12 was around 8,000 at that time.
And that's like a small city.
Yeah, the only part of District 12 we hear about is where she's at. I mean, so if that is then it's obviously quite dense, densely populated in certain areas. So maybe, it does make sense that there'd be, these big areas where there is nothing, like I said, except for, the agricultural districts where they would need more room.
Right. Oh.
Because we do only hear about small sections, and it's, of each district. So with the Justice Building and those central areas, and it's not like we never hear that there are other cities in these districts.
Yeah, I don't think there are. I like Kait or whoever just said that, or said what she said a couple of minutes ago. I get the impression that the districts are all sort of very condensed cities with, a certain degree of land, like in the farming-oriented districts and the forestry district.
Mrs. Orman just tweeted, yes, districts are fenced in. You can't have these huge fences, not like the Great Wall of China there. I love.
You know what I wonder is, if they ever did a show, if you could kind of be in charge of Capitol Television, wouldn't you sort of show these arenas like MTV Cribs, and you just have all these neat camera angles, and you'd show what flash.
Adam, are you talking about Pimp My Arena?
Pimp My Arena? Oh my God. Pimp My Hovercraft.
Pimp My Hovercraft.
Hosted by Trexler Hoverhound.
Exactly. And you'd have the victor there, and you talk to him. It's like, this is the lake where I, did this, and there's the force field. Now I keep my, extra MP3 player, iPad, and all this other cool stuff, and they set the whole thing up that way. And be great entertainment, but see, you don't know about it because they would never show that to the district. Only the Capitol would see that on their feed. So.
What confuses me, and this is on topic but also slightly off. So let's say District 12 has a population of 8,000, like Katniss says, and it's one of the smaller districts. Is that what you guys gathered population-wise?
Mm-hmm.
I believe they mentioned it's the smallest.
Okay. Well, what I'm just wondering about, and maybe it's not even meant to be accurate, but I'm just looking at TheCapitol.PN, which is, the ARG being developed by Lionsgate, which nothing's really happened on that yet. But they have that graph that shows the amount of tesserae claimed by each district. And it says that in District 12, 862,568 tesserae have been claimed. I mean, how is that possible if the population is 8,000 people?
I think that's based more.
Yeah,
amount of people that have signed up for the Capitol.PN
I think so too.
than it is for the actual population.
But you know what, though, when it first, do you think so? Because I don't think the numbers changed.
Has that number changed? Has that number changed?
I don't think so.
Since it opened? We have a screenshot of it. I have to look.
Yeah, I don't think that it's changed.
The day they opened.
And why would anyone in District 1 be collecting tesserae?
Yeah, they don't need it because they have volunteers, right? Careers.
Yeah. Yeah, they do volunteer in District 1. I don't know. Maybe it's not meant to be accurate.
That's something I always wondered about. And this is the same sort of thing as, you know, when you read about the Mayans and how they would play these athletic events and you know, they would kill the losers and the victors would win. How could you feel good as a parent setting up your child as a career and your child dies? Like Cato's parents, do you feel good about yourself that you just lost your son because you trained him for this profession of competing I mean, that's pretty sick in itself when you think about it. And that's an element that we don't usually discuss because we're so focused on Katniss. But the careers are pretty messed up, too, in their own way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
You know, for the glory, some glory, it sounds like, to get to be put back into the quarter quell. It sounds like a death sentence. If it isn't at the beginning, it is later. So...
Well, they didn't know about they didn't know about that quarter quell then, though, because they thought they were safe. I mean, the idea being that they find out that even that safety net that they thought they had was actually, you know, an illusion. So, but I'm
just saying,
Savanna,
any parent who would put their kid up there, someone should call child support. That's all I'm saying for that sort of thing.
It is. Are you
protective services?
Yes.
Hold up the screenshot, Savanna.
Yeah. What is? Okay, so for District 12.
Yeah. On August 31st as 862,568.
Okay, so it hasn't changed. It's still the same number. So if the population is 8,000, I just don't think that that's mathematically possible. I want to know more.
Is it like claimed since? Maybe it's not in a year. Maybe it's cumulative over time.
Maybe so.
And if you're talking 75 years,
that would make more sense. Oh, well, I don't know. I just want something to happen with TheCapitol.PN.
That would be, it's actually not, because I don't know, that's $11,500 a year. So, right? Am I getting it right? Sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't ask me.
Okay.
I'm like the worst at
that
math. Oh, God. Okay. I guess we should just move on from that. We probably have time for two more topics.
Yeah, and we are going to go only 1 hour.
Yes,
and that's
yay.
scripted. I'm telling you that right now.
Does anyone have like any final thoughts on the size of Panem, placement of the arenas, how they have room for 75 arenas? And as far as transportation goes, so I think I saw someone tweeting about that. I don't think there are. I think that they mentioned cars once or twice in the entire trilogy. Mm-hmm. I think a couple people do have cars, but they're very rare. And there are trains, so I'm guessing that the trains would take people on these tours, or hovercrafts maybe. Obviously, it's only the Capitol citizens who are going on the tours. Oh God. Okay.